So, Victor, you've had 10 plus fights in Japan over the span of 7 years or so. Tell
hmm
us what those years of fighting in Japan meant to you.
It means the world. I mean, from my coach having trained and fought in Japan and passing that lineage down to me and being able to go out there and travel in the same footsteps that he has, um, along with the catch wrestling lineage and the UWF and all those things just combined and actually being able to go out there and fight. It's a big deal for me. Of course, my coach is mourning the recent passing of Antonio Inoki, who's obviously had an influence on him, which in turn has had an influence on me. So, being able to go out there and represent a style that is just as much American as it is Japanese is an amazing opportunity for me.
Have you ever had a chance to meet Inoki-san himself? Um,
Never. I've never had the opportunity to meet him. I never got slapped by him, which is, good luck, I hear. But, I have been to his restaurant and heard the Noki Bumbaye song and I hear it very much. And, I want to try to make it out there in December. I know they're doing a memorial for him, which if I could make it out there, that'd be great. If not, I'll be there in spirit, but, it is what it is.
Rest in peace to Inoki-san. So what stands out to you about Japan? Like why is Japan so special to you? If you could elaborate on that, would be awesome.
Well, one of the first things is the food, of course. As soon as I land there, I mean, of course, I'm, usually when I get there to fight, the first thing I smell is all the deli France's, and then, I pass by all the go-go curry, and then I start passing by the all the restaurants that are just amazing. Even down to the street food, I'm always just like, oh man. The first time I fought over there against Tokoro, Josh hadn't been there in a few years, and he was just eating a bunch right in front of me while I'm cutting weight. And I'm just like, well, I'll have my opportunity. And then we went to right after my fight, I have a friend out there. His name is Shimizu, and he takes me to Go-Go Curry. He goes, Victor, you're gonna like this. I said, all right, cool. And I tried it, and it was one of the best things I ever had in my life. And anytime I got a fight in Japan, the second thing that passed through my head was I'm gonna get to eat gorilla curry. So, that's from the top of my head right now. Also, just the fans, the ability to be out there with people who really appreciate martial arts and fighting in a different way. Not to say that American fans don't appreciate fighting, or Russian fans don't appreciate fighting. Everybody appreciates martial arts in a different way. But the Japanese crowd, win, lose, or draw, they appreciate your skill, and they appreciate you going out there and putting on a show. As long as you do put on a show, if you go out there and you fight boring or safe, or there's no real warrior spirit about it, then they'll kind of brush you along. But if they see that you are trying and that you are doing the best of your ability, then they love you for it. So those are, it's those things that you kind of really learn to impart on yourself by just a different land's philosophy on fighting.
Wow, beautiful. Sorry to make you do this, because the last thing you want to be thinking about right now is food. So
No, it's all right. It helps me cut weight.
all right, perfect. And you touched on the fans here, right? Do you think it's weird that the Japanese MMA fans, or martial art fans, they tend to watch fights very quietly, right? They like to observe what's going on. Did you ever find that uncomfortable?
No, I mean, honestly, that's a secondary thought. I'm not in the middle of a fight thinking, man, it's quiet. I'm pretty thinking, I think the person across from me wants to punch and kick my face in. But the being able to hear your corner is a lot different, especially when it's so clear and you can hear the mat shift and you can hear the stretch in the cage and those kinds of things. And, I'm kind of used to hearing screaming people, like kick him in the face, stand up, or kick him in the dick, whatever, like it's a little different, but it's not something that throws me off. If anything, you can tell that, number one, they're being respectful, that knowing that you're in the middle of a fight and they want you to be able to hear your coach, but also, they're just as focused on this fight as I am, and I'm the one in the cage.
That's perfect. So you're used to fighting in those small venues, right? The Deep, the Pancras, and all those guys tend to have those events in the tiny venues, if you will. Are you more used to, or do you prefer fighting in those small venues, or do you prefer fighting in big venues like in the arena or something?
It really doesn't matter to me, man. I mean, every fight is the same in that when you step into the cage, there's somebody about to punch you in the face. The first thing they want to do is knock you out unconscious. The second thing they want to do is they want to choke you, or get your arm. If I was worried about crowds, where I was, the size of the arena, all those things are secondary. My last fight in the UFC, when I fought, I was a huge underdog, and it was in a big arena, but I didn't think about all those things, because the one thing that mattered was that somebody was across the cage trying to punch me in the face. Everything changes. The size of the cage, are you fighting in a ring or a cage? The betting odds, the crowd's mannerisms, all those things change, and I can't control those things. So I just have to focus on the fight, which is always what I do.
Thank you. So this upcoming fight against Assunção, this is going to be your second fight in the UFC. What's your mentality going into the fight?
I have to assume that this is the most dangerous version of Assunção, only because he's not in his physical prime, and he's had a slew of losses right now. But I know that if I was in that position, the very first thing I would be thinking is, this is my job and my livelihood on the line right now. I have to go out and I have to put on a great show. I have to go out there and knock Victor Henry out. I have to go out there and make sure that I win. So I don't know if he's going to come out there with, just guns blazing and throwing as hard as punches as he can. He's just worried about, I'm just going to get Victor Henry down, and I'm just going to hold him down just to make sure I win, and then I get to stay in the UFC. I don't know, so, with somebody who is as experienced as Assunção is, he's got striking, he's got wrestling, he's got jiu-jitsu, he's got, we've never seen him gassed in a fight. So he's got all those things. So it's really about what Assunção is going to do that I'm going to have to capitalize on. Of course, I trained certain things according to Assunção, but, he's a warrior, and he's going to go out there with the intent to finish me because of the position he's in.
Perfect. And lastly, obviously you have a huge fan base in Japan now. They'll all be rooting for you. If you could give a shout out message to those fans that'll be watching this weekend, it'd be awesome.
Well, first of all, I hear everybody. I hear everybody saying "Gambare." I hear it, and the only thing I gotta say is "Gamburuzo."